I am Vinny Tudorich, folks. Your good intentions have been stolen, but don't worry. I'm here to help you get them back. You may be soft and succulent at the, oh, hang on, David. You may be soft and succulent at the beginning of this process, but hang in there. Before long, you will be lean and mean, just like our guest today, Miss Megan Hart. Yeah, hello, David Bowie. Megan, are you familiar? Are you old enough to know David Bowie music?
Oh my word, I'm not that much younger than you.
I know, but you look a lot younger. That's what upsets me about everyone. Everyone looks younger than me, which is you folks don't do NSNG because you'll look like crap like me when you get older.
No,
Yeah. Were you a David Bowie fan, or that was kind of a guy thing, right?
it was more okay. I can't say I was a David Bowie fan.
Yeah, but you would have been into him. I mean, he was early on androgyny, right? He was more androgynous. He would dress up like, I don't know if you would call it drag or some half drag or kind of drag. What would you call it?
I would call it different.
Yeah,
His definitely different.
yeah, big rock star. There was a few of them back then. David was early money, because he was around in the late 60s, early 70s coming around. And he would, wear, on one of the album covers, he had women's underwear, from what I remember. Not that I was looking. Maybe I saw something. I don't
Sure.
know.
I'm sure you were looking.
Yeah, and there were other ones. Twisted Sister, that guy.
Yeah,
But that was more 80s glam rock.
right.
Twisted Sister. I tell everyone the earliest cross-dresser we knew was Bugs Bunny. Think about it.
I'm thinking about it.
He would
Why-
always get dressed up in the gowns and try to, woo the Tasmanian devil.
Yes, he
Right?
did.
Yeah. Bugs Bunny, a big old cross-dresser. Yeah.
Who knew?
Yeah, I knew. Everyone knew. Bugs Bunny. At any rate,
Went together. So
yeah, look around. It's everything is around us at all the time. It's funny how the world works today. Everything becomes a thing because now everyone has a megaphone,
yeah,
right? And someone was asking me the other day. They said, "Man, whenever I have something go semi-viral on Instagram, like I just had one go to 700,000 views, and most of it is hate mail.
oh,
Just you're a clown. You know what you're talking about. You're an idiot. Yeah." People go. My buddy Coddington said to me, he goes, "How is it? How do you deal with that?" Wait, hang on. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said his name.
The billionaire Don Coddington's Friday 5 o'clock. Have a good weekend.
I have to do that whenever I say his name. But people, he was asking me, he goes, how do you do that? How, people are just calling you an idiot. Doesn't bother me. Well, they don't know me. They don't
right.
know anything about me. Right?
Do you just read the comments?
Do I read the comments?
No, I mean, I would probably just skip the comments myself.
Well, I read them because sometimes people are asking me legit things like, hey,
Gotcha.
Tell me more, or why is that a problem? I don't mind answering people. My whole thing was after cancer, I was going to get out here and help people be better people. That's why I'm on Instagram. I'm just on Instagram to help people become better. Now, if people want to treat me like shit, that's fine.
Right.
And by the way, if you treat me like shit and I still help you, that's fine too. There you have it. Debbie, that's your Instagram quote for this show. I don't have to worry about it for the rest of the show unless I say something that's more compelling, which I doubt I will. That's about as compelling as I want to be tonight.
There you go.
So you've been on the show before, Megan.
I have.
And people love you. You're on the Facebook group. We have a big, giant Facebook group that's got, I want to say, 30,000. How many people we have in that group, Megan?
I think there's probably close to 30. Well, I know there's 30 for sure. I want to say there's probably 32.
Okay. That's a lot of people for a Facebook group, right?
I agree.
And people help each other. And you've been one of the admins for a long time.
Yeah, I have been.
And I appreciate that you guys go on there and do that every day. But, you didn't just join Hair Club for Men. You're also a user. Remember that ad?
User.
So you've lost a fair amount of weight. Is that safe to say?
That is safe to say.
Okay. Just let's help the audience out.
Okay.
How old and how tall? Do you give your age? You don't have to give your age if you don't want to.
Oh, I'll give my age. I don't care. I'm almost 53. I'll be 53 in a month.
53. And how tall?
Well, I say 5'5". I'm close enough to 5'5". I'm like 5'4 3/4".
So we'll say 5'5". Make you
Yep.
feel better about yourself. You wear some hooker heels, you're probably 5'6".
Exactly. Right.
Yeah. So 5'6", 5'5". At your top weight that you ever remember, what was that number?
That was 300. I weighed at the doctor's office at 300, and I had dieted a couple months before. So I don't really know the top weight. I just know it was 300 at the doctor's office. That's what I go with.
So you knew you were going in to the doctor, so you spent a couple of days,
I spent a couple months.
or a couple of months.
I did. Yeah,
Okay, so you were probably a few pounds more than 300.
absolutely. Yeah.
As the kids would say, you were a solid 300.
I was a solid 300.
How did you find me and this and all of it?
So I found you by, well, first Google. I was told that I had diabetes and I didn't like that. And I wanted to figure out how you could reverse it by food. So I just kind of Googled no sugar diets, and I found you that way. And then a couple of the doctors, I worked in a dentist's office. One doctor told me about you, and then the manager of the office told me about you. So I started listening to your podcast and joined your Facebook group. And when I was told I had diabetes, I gave up sugar that day and haven't looked back.
Okay. Diabetes under control now?
Yes. So when I started, I had an A1C of 8, and now the last couple of years, it's been 4.7.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
excellent.
Yeah, I'm so happy with it.
Okay. And I'm going to gather that, when I look at you, I know you don't weigh 300 pounds.
No,
I don't
I
think you weigh 200 pounds. How much do we weigh now?
right now I weigh 155.
So if I'm doing the math right, you've lost half of your body weight in fat.
I sure did.
And I'm saying in fat because, folks, let me give you a little lesson here. When you lose a lot of weight, you take a lot of muscle with it, right? So if you lose, you might lose, if you're doing it right, people will lose 15, 20% of their muscle mass because it's just the way it works, right? It's on you to put that muscle mass back on. That's something we're going to get to in a minute because you're figuring out ways to put that muscle mass back on.
I am.
Now, are you comfortable at 155 or are you looking to go lower? What are we doing now, Megan?
I'm trying right now. I haven't been focusing so much on my weight. I've been just, I'm strict NSNG, and now I've added your workout and then some cardio as well. And so I'm focusing more on my workouts and doing them every day and enjoying them and being able to go out and hike. And if I would like to go down more, obviously, right? I would like to lose another 10 pounds. If I don't, I'm happy here too, but I would like to.
Well, you're healthy now.
Right.
Right. And that's all I care about. People always, I wrote about it in my book. It's like, my job is to make people healthy.
Right.
If one of the byproducts, you see, all they care about is being thin because society has said, oh, if you look a certain way, you're fine. Right.
Exactly.
So I don't care about that. That's the byproduct of me getting you healthy.
Exactly.
That you get to wear a two-piece again.
Well, I do wear one. Thank you.
Right.
Thank you for that, Vinny. So, when I started, 3X was too tight, right? And that's like the top of the women's section is a 3X. And now I've done it a couple times where I think I buy a large and then it's like, nope, that doesn't work. And then I get the medium, nope, that doesn't work. And so I'm actually in a small, even though I'm 155, I'm in a small, which is so weird to me. But I'm just happy where I'm at. And I figure be happy where I'm at and I can move my body and I'm healthy and I'm not taking any medications at 53. I'm happy.
Well, you should be. I've seen so many photos of you, the before and afters, and they're pretty unbelievable. For me, and look, I've been doing this for 40 years. I've been, I don't know many people who have done one thing throughout their entire career.
Right. Not a lot.
I've done one thing. I'm an idiot savant.
Yes, you.
I learned how to do one thing and I went, whoa, I actually figured something out in life. I'm sticking with it.
Right.
I'm not changing, right? It's a good thing I didn't work for the morgue when I was in high school because I would still be, stuffing people into coffins or whatever. It's like, I'm like the old Italian from the village.
Right.
You have the cobbler. He's cobbling until he dies. You got the guy the blacksmith, I don't know what kind of fucking village I'm living. I'm living in a village from 1750, but you understand what I'm saying, right? It's like,
Yeah.
I would probably be the village idiot. He's been an idiot his whole life. He's the village idiot. But yeah,
Yourself short. You're not an idiot.
oh, you don't know me very well. But the bottom line is, when you do one thing your whole life, and that's why, when people go after me online, I go, what do you know, guy with the pink shirt on? Whenever you start looking at my clothes and that's all you got,
Right.
you're fresh out of arguments. Give me something besides the fact that I had a pink shirt on. Okay.
Right.
Actually, the shirt was red. I just had it a long time and now it looks pink. But okay. And by the way, I do have pink shirts and I think I look pretty damn sexy in them.
You do.
You should see me in a pink shirt. Today I'm wearing teal, right?
I know that looks great on you.
Makes my eyes dance.
It does.
Damn right it does.
Damn right.
So yeah, when you do one thing and people go, well, how did you figure this out? It's like, because I've been doing one thing for 40 years. I'm only 60 years old.
Right.
So well over 2/3 of my life, I've done one thing. And the reason I'm able to do it all those years is because I'm pretty damn good at it. Hollywood doesn't call you if you're not good at what you do.
Exactly.
Right? If you're not good at what you do, you end up on a TV show and you get to yell at poor overweight people on a TV show, right?
Right.
Biggest loser. Looking at you, Jillian Michaels. If you were a good trainer, you wouldn't have to go. I didn't have time to go to auditions.
Right.
I was too busy making a living, because when you're good at what you do. So that's why I'm glad, whenever I talk to a lot of these doctors, I've talked to Tro about this. I've talked to Brian Linsky's about this. I've talked to Tony Hampton about this, and Ovadia. I had this conversation. He goes, look, we weren't taught, you were able to go out there and figure it out.
Right.
Now following your lead, me, and I'm talking, this is the royal me, or it should be the royal we, right? People like myself went and figured this out. And then these doctors who weren't stuck up their own ass went, oh, wait, these guys are doing something special. Let's go see what they're doing, right? That's the difference.
Exactly.
Right? Most doctors would say, they don't have an MD. They don't know what they're talking about. These people are out of their minds. But you, 145 pounds, that's a lot. You need to lose 5 more pounds just so you can say it's 150.
Okay, so I did lose 5 pounds more. So I did hit the 150, but then I started lifting weights and working out, and I did gain 5 pounds. So I'm not sure what the why.
Well, look, I mean, over time, you could put on that much in muscle. So I always tell people, when you get down to your weight, the scale, you need a new scale, and that scale is called a mirror.
Exactly.
And the mirror is your new scale, because the old way of weighing yourself is not paying you dividends anymore, right?
Right. It's kind of a liar, really. It doesn't have the full picture. We say that a lot in our group. The scale of the liar doesn't have the full picture.
Yeah. Unless you go get on a DEXA scan once a week, that will tell you the truth.
Exactly.
Right? So I'm going to just come out and say it.
Okay.
And then I'm going to say this, and then we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to talk about it.
Okay.
Scott King with a vagina. Can we call you that?
You want to call me Scott King with a vagina?
Yeah. It sounds better than calling him Megan Hawks with a cock.
Well, I was going to say, wouldn't he be Megan Hawks with a cock?
You were around before him, right?
I was. So he would be Megan Hawks with a cock.
Yeah. But you know what? It sounds better to call you Scott King with a vagina, because when I could put Scott King and vagina in the same phrase,
You just like saying the word vagina. It's all good.
Yeah, I like that alliteration. Folks, Villa Capelli olive oil. No vaginas over there. It's 2 guys. They both had cocks. They were married to each other, Paul Capelli, Stephen Crutchfield. They started themselves a pretty good company over in Puglia, Italy. Villa Capelli olive oil. Paul Capelli knew what he was doing. The guy was originally from Italy. He made his bones in New York. He went back to Italy and took an old farm and turned it into the best olive oil company on the planet. I'm saying that for 2 reasons. Number 1, because it's true. And number 2, because they pay me a lot of money. Villa Capelli olive oil, the best olive oil on the planet. Unfortunately, Paul Capelli is no longer with us. Man passed away. But his husband, Stephen Crutchfield, is that his widow, his widower? I don't think we worked that out in gay world. You see, if Paul was on the podcast, he would explain to me which one it was.
Right.
I think we need to work that one out. I'm going to say widow. So at any rate, Stephen Crutchfield keeps the company going. I'm so impressed with this product that over at purevitaminclub.com, we need to, we mix the vitamin D. You have to mix it with an oil, and most companies use some kind of rancid seed oil, whatever they can get for cheap. Not us. At purevitaminclub.com, we use Villa Capelli olive oil in our vitamin D. I suggest you go right now and get Villa Capelli, because when they're out, they are out. Megan, do you use Villa Capelli at all?
I do use Villa Capelli. Actually, I just got some last week, so it's still in stock, or it was in stock last week.
Yeah.
I got, and then I even, I'm in Arizona for a couple months, and I brought it with me. That's how much I like it.
Look, folks, I tell everyone, they'll write to me, go, what else you got? They're out of stock again. When they're in stock, look, this was like the pandemic when there was a raid on the toilet paper.
Mm-hmm.
That happened, but it happens. Treat Villa Capelli like COVID toilet paper. Go get it right now. Get a lot of it. Run them out, but make sure you have yours. Promo code Vinnie, VINNIE, will save you 10% every time. If you spend more than $125 after the promo code, you also get free shipping. That makes the savings pretty substantial. Villa Capelli olive oil. Let them know we sent you. God, I love those guys. I just had, and by the way, I was going to wait and tell this to what's her name, Anna.
Yeah.
But that show is going to come out before this show probably. I tried the Villa Capelli in my coffee. Not this cup. This cup is just regular. But I finally took some Villa Capelli and put it into a quadruple espresso. I put it in the blender so I can really whiz it in there. I didn't want it just to be an oil slick on top.
Right.
Delectable.
Really?
Yeah. I really liked it because the Villa Capelli has that pull you pinch. You get that peppery on the back end.
Right.
Wow.
I'm going to have to try that.
Yeah, I've never tried the Starbucks version of it, but man, that just getting that nice peppery on the back end of a quadruple espresso, unbelievable. I've only done it twice, but I will continue to do it.
This sounds delicious.
I thought it was. I didn't think those two things. I guess that makes me the most Italian in America when you take espresso and add Villa Capelli to it.
Yes.
Doesn't it? You're not gonna. Now
What?
you're like, you said yes, and I thought you were going to expound on that, but you didn't. Okay, other Anna Vocina. So you're the new Scott King, and the reason I'm saying that is Scott King is a guy who weighed 600 pounds at one time. Now he's in the mid 200s. I've met Scott. He's a tall drink of water. He's a big guy.
Right.
The reason, look, we've had a lot of people over the years lose 200-300 pounds. Not a big deal anymore in this group, right? I mean, it's a thing. But you guys have been taking it to a new level.
We did take it to a new level.
Yeah, you start exercising and finding sports to do. Regale me with some of the stuff. Tell me where you started with the sports and where you are now, and we'll give people an idea.
Okay, so I didn't start really working out until I had lost like 100 pounds, and then I started walking, and then I started swimming, and it was probably like a year, maybe. I think 6 months ago we started talking about lifting weights. And then I did that for a little bit, kind of fell off track. But then probably 3 months ago, you and I had a couple conversations on doing the push-pull leg days. And so to get myself into the right mindset, I did the 75 hard. And so I would do my push-pull legs. When I was in Arizona last time, they have a Peloton. And so I started doing that and I fell in love with that. And I think so much working out is find what you fall in love with, right? And do it. You don't have to be like, I don't know. So anyways, I started doing the Peloton. I started hiking. I started lifting the weights. I've been doing it for, I don't know, I'm like day 80 now and I haven't missed yet. And and then I've been talking to Scott King a little bit and then signed up to do a triathlon as well. Granted, I'm doing the sprints. So because I swim and I do have a real bike too, not just the Peloton. And the running is something that I'm working on.
Explain, you keep saying 75 hard. Now, I know what that means. Go back, we have tens of thousands of people that listen to the show. Explain what 75 hard means.
So 75 hard it's really for the mindset, right? Some of the things that I've learned in doing it or more mindset things that I can do it, right? Keep telling myself I can do this. So you work out twice a day, 2 45-minute workouts. You eat a diet, which I was already eating NSNG. You read 10 pages, you take a picture of yourself every day, and you drink a gallon of water. So I had to up my water a little bit. I was already eating NSNG, but I really just wanted to work on the discipline of working out and making it a habit. And that's the whole reason I did it, just to make working out a habit for myself. And then we started in the NSNG group. We kind of did the little revised version where you work out 45 minutes a day, you eat NSNG, and you focus on your sleep. Sleep's really important as well. So we're doing that.
There's a guy, I know he's in the group, but I see him on Twitter. He's actually been on the show back when we had the Saturday show. Adam Livesey. Are you familiar with Adam?
Yep. Adam actually lives, he's in Washington with me.
Okay.
Yep.
Really nice guy, really a true gentleman. I feel. And that guy, he does like, he'll do 75 hard or 90 hard or,
Yep.
90, or 75 AF, you know, as some people like to call it, and just put together these streaks.
Mhm.
Right? I've never liked streaking. I just did a thing on my Instagram about a streaker. I had my buddy Dan Lynch here at the house. Did you see the Instagram?
I did, because I'm on a streak on the Peloton right now too. I'm on week 12. But so tell me why you don't like a streaker. I want to know.
No, I don't like streaking for myself.
Okay.
But I get why people do it. I get, you know, why Dan does it. I have my doctor, who is also a friend, you know, my GP, is a runner. Her husband runs, she's run a few, I want to say 50Ks, maybe she's run 100K.
Mm-hmm.
So she's a serious runner. Her husband's done a few, maybe a handful of 100-milers, and they're serious runners.
That is serious.
But she started off the whole thing as a streaker.
Mm-hmm.
And it was at least, I want to say at least a mile a day every day. And she did that for years. My friend Nadir Ali, the cardiologist from Texas, Houston, he's a streaker. His streak is he's ridden his bike to work, rain or shine. And when you live in Houston,
right,
there's a lot of rain, but he's figured it out. He's streaked on that bike for, I don't know how long. I get streakers. I don't like streaking for myself because, as I've always said, people said, wow, you're 60 years old. You've never smoked pot. Yeah, there's a reason for that. I don't do anything half-ass. If I had smoked pot and decided I liked it, I would have been the Cheech and Chong of pot smoking. Does anyone even know that reference anymore?
Yes.
I mean, Tommy Chong would have come and said, enough,
right,
too much, right? That's why I never did drugs. That's why I don't do anything, because I do everything to the nth degree.
Right.
I was an ultra cyclist, as you know, for a lot of years.
Mm-hmm.
If I became a streaker, God only knows what would happen to me.
True.
I do things like I have to do at least 365 hours of aerobics per year because I'm not training for anything anymore. So it's easy for me just to go in the gym and pump iron because I love doing that, right? And
right.
Oh yeah, I've pumped iron today. I don't have to get on the bike. Oh, I've pumped iron. I don't have to get on the rowing machine. Oh, I've pumped iron. I don't have to get on the paddle, or I don't have to go hiking or running or whatever, right? Because pumping iron is like going and get a massage every day.
Right.
Right. So I have to say, okay, since I'm not training for anything aerobically, I have to do 300. Now, every year that I've been doing that, I've gotten into the 430, 440 hour range. I don't do it in streaks. Sometimes this year, on day 9 of this year, I only had 2 hours of aerobics in.
Really?
Yeah, because I was traveling. You know, I had to go to Europe because Serena's mom had died, and I had to go to the funeral and the whole thing. There were family commitments. I didn't want to be that guy that said, we're dealing with grief. You know, I'm going to go be the asshole. Like, look, I know it's raining and it's cold out here. I'm going to go run from,
right.
I'm going to do that. Right. If I was a streaker, I would have to become that asshole.
Right.
I don't want to be that guy. I would rather say, come hell or high water at the end of the year, I got to have 365.
I kind of like that. It gives you some leeway.
Sometimes I miss 2 or 3. Like, I know for a fact I'm flying to Texas in a couple of days. I'll
Mhm.
probably get some aerobics in that morning because I like to work out before I get on the plane because you relax more and you get a nice little rest in. But I'm going to be there shooting for 2 days. I have
Mhm.
a film crew hired, and I'm the producer of this. Everyone's going to be going, Vinny, where do we do this? Vinny, how do we do that? Vinny, how do we?
Right.
I'm not going to. I guarantee you, I'm not going to work out for 2 days.
Right.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter because when I get back, I'll do 90 minutes for a few days in a row, or I'll do 2 hours for a couple of days in a row, or whatever.
Mhm.
I'll catch it up, right? I'd
Yeah.
do that than streak.
I actually like that idea for myself because then it gives you a little bit of grace, right?
Gives you a lot of grace.
Yeah. Because like yesterday, I went on a walk, 3 mile walk with my girlfriend. And then last night I went on a hike, but I didn't want to break my bike streak. So then I jumped on the bike at 9 o'clock at night. So give me a little leeway.
But you see, and when you say that, people are listening right now that might be, Megan Hawks on day one, 300 pounds, who
Right.
can't work out and going, I don't have anything. This woman, I can't even relate to her. She's like working out all day and then she gets on a bike. And I can't tell you, I used to have ultra athletes on this show all the time.
Mhm.
And people would write to me and go, I have no idea. Why do you have these people on? They're annoying to me, right? I'm always hoping that people can draw something from it. I
Well,
get
here,
where you are right now, but look where Megan was and look where she is now. Go on, Megan. I'm sorry.
I'm just going to say, but I did not work out at all the first 100 pounds that I lost. So that took me 2 years to take off the 100 pounds. And really, honestly, now 150 pounds down, I mean, it's only been the last 3 months that I've been working out like that.
Yeah.
So you really have to be NSNG and you have to know your food so well and how your body works with that food, I think, before you add a bunch of exercise. Because once you start adding exercise, even now, there are days where I'm hungry, like hungry. And then there's days where I'm not as hungry. It's more like my normal appetite. But there are days where I'm more hungry. And I think if you don't have that dialed in, your diet part, the lifestyle, then you could, if there's cookies on your table, you could be like, oh, I'm just going to have one. I worked out today. Well, no, that's not an option. The option is you eat NSNG and eventually you're going to get to where I am now. And I guess I didn't realize that before, that, the diet is so important to have dialed in first.
Well, look, people will say, when I was weighing 400, 500, 600 pounds, I couldn't imagine working out. I couldn't imagine getting off the couch. I had no energy. And when your body starts burning your internal fat as fuel, you start feeling energy.
Yep.
You went down to 200 before you did anything. Some people get down, they might still be 450, 500 pounds, but they're down 100 pounds and they feel that energy. Scott King was one of those people.
Yep.
The one with the cock. But, that becomes the thing. And, one of the things I hear all the time is if you can lose all the weight without ever exercising, because I've taken people in wheelchairs that have gained a lot of weight and they can't really, they're immobile. They're sitting there, for their entire life. And I've taken a couple of 100 pounds off of some of those people. And they'll say, well, if you can lose all the weight without exercise, why exercise? Simple. Exercise is the fountain of youth.
Yes.
There's no two ways about it. And then people say, well, what's the most important exercise? Is it aerobic? Is it anaerobic? The true answer, if I'm being truthful, is I don't know.
It's what you're going to do.
Well, I always say the best exercise is the one you're willing to do.
Yep.
But, I can I can sit here and do a point counterpoint and argue against myself. I can do 20 minutes and explain to you why aerobic exercise is better than anaerobic.
Mm-hmm.
I can do that for 20 minutes. And then I could turn the table and explain to you why anaerobics, meaning weightlifting, is way more important than aerobics.
Right.
And you'll go, oh my God, the guy made a compelling case against himself, right?
Exactly.
The truth of the matter is they're both important.
They are.
They're both important. Weightlifting, strength training. Yeah. And by the way, you could change, look, I get it. I'm a zealot. I've been doing this my whole life.
Right.
Today, I went to the gym because at some point I got to go with my buddy. I'm not going to say his name. We're going to go climb Mount Whitney this summer. So that comes up like a couple of weeks after I get back from shooting my film.
hmm
and I'm way behind on mountain climb. Today I went to the gym. I was on the stair machine for an hour.
Right.
I got on the treadmill and I jacked it up to 10% and stayed on that for 30 minutes. And then later on this afternoon, I looked around and was like, wait a minute. I'm in between work. I don't have anything for 30 minutes. I took my hex bar. You know what a hex bar is in the gym?
Yes.
You can you stand in the middle and you could do, deadlifts or whatever. I took my hex bar, took it outside, threw some weight on it. My hex bar by itself probably weighed 70, 80 pounds. Big,
Yeah,
heavy.
they're
Yeah, mine is big. I got one from Rogue. And I have a slanted yard, right? My yard slants from one side to the other. I had 30, 35, 40 minutes. I just did laps, farmer carries with that hex bar with some weight on it, just going up and down, right? Where there's a will, there's a way,
absolutely.
right? Now I'm weighting myself down and I'm getting some aerobic exercise and I'm hanging onto that thing for as long as I can until I can't anymore and put it down, wait a couple of minutes and do it again. Well, Vin, how many sets and reps and how far did you go? I don't know. I didn't time it. I
Right.
wore my ass out though. I still had some energy because I know when I'm on Whitney with that guy that I can't mention or I have to play that stupid thing, it's just a mandate. When I'm up there, I'm going to get tired. You're on that mountain for somewhere between 12 and 14 hours. I remember a couple of years ago, I saw a video and I thought it was so cute. Lance Armstrong went up there and did Whitney and, they videoed the whole thing and he got down and he went, man, that's no joke.
Right.
He was in pain. What?
What's your elevation gain?
The portal is around 8,000, 8,200 feet and you go up to just under 15,000 feet. It's 14,500, 14,600, something like that. So like a 6,000 foot elevation gain in 11 miles. But you're
Right.
walking up 11, it's almost like doing a marathon. You go up 11 miles and you come down 11 miles.
Absolutely. Yep.
Right. And this year, there's a lot of snow in the mountains still. I was talking to my friend the other day, Blair, that owns Big Willie's, climbing shop. He's in Lone Pine. I said, we said, hey, what should we bring? And he goes, bring an ice axe. I was like, midsummer? He said,
Really?
yeah, just throw one in your luggage.
Wow.
That's glacier stuff. Now, I'm sure that by the time that time comes, I'm pretty sure that ice axe is never going to leave camp.
Right.
Right. You bring it along, but I know that that's coming up and I know I have limited time. So I'm doing what I have to do. You're doing what you have to do. You want to do sprint triathlons and everything else, correct?
Correct. Yep.
What have you done so far? Tell us what you've done as far as events. Give the audience some idea of where you are.
I haven't done one yet.
But you've done, you've done some 5Ks, 10Ks? Haven't you?
I've done a 5K. I've done a half marathon. This was a while ago, but as of recently, I have not done any of those. So this will be my first event as, I guess, the Scott King with a vagina.
I'm so weirded out that I got you saying that now.
I know.
So
Come out as for me.
So we know you can run. We know you can swim because you've been doing that for a while.
Yeah, I started swimming. Well, when I lost 100 pounds, that's when I started swimming.
I thought you were a swimmer in high school.
Oh,
why am I
okay.
thinking of that? Yeah, take us back.
Yeah. So I was a swimmer in high school. I swam for 3 different teams during that 4-year period. So I was a swimmer. So I mean, I went back to swimming after I'd lost 100 pounds. So
Okay. So we know that you're a good swimmer. We know that you can run.
yes.
We know that you can sit on a Peloton, but have you been out on a bike?
Yes, I have a bike I have a road bike as well. So I have never done a race on the road bike. So, but I'm thinking, so I'm doing the sprint. So the bike is 14 miles.
Give people an idea of the entire sprint. Give us the swim, the bike, and the run.
So it's shorter than an Olympics. So it's like, it depends on the sprint. It's like a quarter mile to a half a mile for the swim. The bike is 14 miles and then it's a 5K.
Okay.
So that's pretty doable.
Do you have one earmarked?
Yep. I'm trying to decide between 2. One is a woman's one. I kind of like that idea of only doing it with women. But the other one is one closer to my house. They're both August 19th.
What is it about the women's only thing that you like?
Because I've never done one before, I just don't know the dynamic of it, right? When you're men and women together. Not that I mean, men are just faster and all of that. And I'm pretty competitive. So
Yeah, I wouldn't worry. You know, whichever one works better for you, go and do.
the women one has pink hats, pink swim
Well,
caps.
well, there's that. Is it a Susan B. Komen type thing, or is it?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, figures if it's got pink hats and everything. I don't know why one would be different than the other because mm,
I'm probably going to go the one closer to home. The other one's in Portland. Oh, the other one, the women one was flat. I kind of like that idea too. Not a lot of hills.
flat makes a big difference. I would look at flat for the first one, whichever. So if the women's one is flat, I would do that first.
Yeah, that's why I was thinking the women's one because it was flat. And then I want to see how that goes. And then I want to go up to an Olympic and see how that goes in September and just try it out. Why not try things, right? I mean, I'm healthy and I'm getting fit and I mean, I'm working on it. And why not try something? It's been on my bucket list forever, so why not check it off?
Look, I'm that guy. I love trying things. You know, people say, "Oh, you're good at shotguns." Yeah, I've been shooting my whole life, and I wanted to get competitive, so
Mhm.
I just started training more. Right.
Right.
I haven't shot a competition yet, but I love archery. I like
Mhm.
archery, I think, more than shotguns because it's the ammo that you could go grab right out of the target and
Right.
use it again. A lot cheaper.
Right. Mhm.
You know, shotgun, you know, you got to keep putting ammunition in it. And once you shoot it, you can't go collect the BBs and do it again.
Right. You look way cooler as an archer.
Say again.
You would look way cooler as an archer. That's kind of badass, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's more, I don't know. It's something more guttural about it. It's just more, I don't know. I just like archery. I like the whole idea of in both sports, it's kind of like golf where it's zen like if you got anything else, like no matter what you show up with on your mind, you have to put that aside and just clear your mind because man, if I start thinking, oh, I got phone calls coming up, Andy's up my ass about this and this and that, and all this stuff is going on. I have a bad day, whether I'm shooting shotguns or arrows, right?
Right.
But
Mhm.
if I can clear my mind and just, you know, do what, you know, just, you know, do that whole thing. And I hate to sound like, oh, grasshopper, you know, and pan flute music
Right.
in the background. You sound on, sound off, karate.
Wax, wax off.
Yeah, wax on, wax off. Yeah, I could get into that. You got to get into that mindset, right? You got to let everything. It's the same thing when I used to do, you know, ultra cycling, and that's something you have to find, you know, because people always say to me, "What should my bricks look like?" You know, that's a big term you're going to start hearing in triathlon. I got to
Okay.
do a brick, right? Meaning you're going to do two things in one day. You're going to swim and ride a bike, or ride a bike and run. There's
Well,
these
that's
different bricks. Go on.
brick. I thought it was called a stack.
They call them a stack. They used to call them a brick.
I
Call
don't
them,
know. Uh, yeah.
you'll learn all the terminology, and there's no shortage of people that will tell you you're doing something wrong. But the idea is be in the moment of what you're doing.
Mhm.
That's all you can really do is be
Right.
in that moment, right? Just like if you're shooting arrows or shooting at a moving target or whatever you're doing, playing golf, you have to be in that moment or you're not going to be able to do it. That's the right people. I play golf for relaxation.
Mhm.
That's what it is. What you're doing here with swimming, riding a bike, running, it's the relaxation, right?
Right.
You have to relax into it. Does that make
Mhm. It totally makes sense. Yes.
Yeah, look, I'm excited for you. And I hope that this podcast motivates other people to do the same sort of thing.
I hope so too. Because
Yeah.
you know, I'm just so excited for where I'm at right now that it's just I don't know. I can't even thank you enough for I know I did the work, but I wouldn't have been here today without all of your knowledge that you give to us for free. Well, kind of free. Get the ebook.
Yeah, I'm nickel and diming people in that ebook.
Oh my gosh, it's a latte, right? Anymore.
It really is kind of nuts, right?
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, I don't understand why anyone would complain about it. I'm looking for Mark Allen right now in my I got to find Mark Allen. I haven't had him on a podcast for a long time. Do you know who he is?
I don't.
You want me to impress you?
Yep, absolutely.
Back in the early days of triathlon, the 80s, when triathlon as a sport is not that old.
Really?
It started in the 80s. It started late 70s, and then I want to say one of the programs picked it up and, put it on Saturday afternoon, like on a Wide World of Sports type thing. And I want to say 1979 or 1980. And that first year, something incredible happened because it was such a fringe sport, right? It was just on the fringes. I'm going to give you a few things about triathlon. You're going, oh my God,
Okay.
I had no idea.
I'm excited.
So I can't remember the woman's name. You might be able to Google it while we're talking, but she literally collapsed, right? She was like, I think one of the first women, she was like wobbling, and they show it like on all the highlight reels. She collapses. She literally has diarrhea running down her leg on national television, and no one can touch her because if someone touches her, that's receiving help. And she's crawling to the finish line. She's like something out of a movie. She's crawling. It's just incredible what goes on. And that one thing made everyone go, you know what? I need to see what I'm made of. Back then, there were, I remember early on, I did a little triathlon back in New Orleans in the early 80s. It was brand new, but this was like way back before that. And then they made the Ironman was the original. That's why the one in Hawaii, the one
Right.
on the Queen K and all that started a thing where they figured out there was a lot of wind on the Queen K. So you were going into a wind over half the time.
Wow.
So these guys were trying to cheat the wind. They would ride regular road bikes, but put a smaller wheel on the front so the bikes can be angled forward.
Wow.
And yeah, if you go look back in the early 80s and see old triathlon pictures, you'll see it looks like they're riding clown bikes. Why is there a small wheel? They were trying to angle forward so that they can cheat that wind and get down lower for a long period of time. And that gave way to using time trial bikes, which they now call, if you're in the Tour de France, they call that bike a time trial bike. If you're in a triathlon, they call it a triathlon bike. And triathlon will try to explain to you, oh, we put a different angle on the seat post. It somehow saves your hamstrings a little bit for the run. That's bullshit. It's the same bike.
It's the same bike. Okay.
As a matter of fact, I can make an argument as to say that's the worst bike to use for almost 100% of all triathlons unless you're going into a wind, right? You're better off on a road bike where you can have your hip angle opened up more and you can generate more power than when you're down in that low position with your hip angle jammed up. It only gives you an advantage if there's a strong wind coming at you.
Right.
But when I start telling that to triathletes, they think, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. It's like, yeah, I think I know. I've been in the bike game and I'm an exercise physiologist. Give me a break. I know what I'm talking about. Right. But getting to Mark Allen.
Okay.
There was a guy named Dave Scott. Dave Scott won the triathlon of all triathlons in Hawaii 6 times in a row.
Whoa.
The guy that came in second was Mark Allen.
Okay.
And every year, Mark trained harder and harder and harder to try to win that race, only to come out second to Mark Allen. But
Dave Scott.
Dave Scott. Thank you.
Yeah.
In the 7th year, Mark Allen beat Dave Scott. Not only that, he went on to win 6 more in a row.
Wow.
And took a year off and came back and won an unprecedented 7 total. Now, think about this. Most people burn out in 6 years.
Right.
This guy did 6 years, came in second, and then did 6 more years, winning it outright, took a year off, and then won it again. ESPN called him the greatest aerobic athlete of all time. I would agree. Wouldn't you?
I would totally agree.
So what did he do differently in those second? Obviously he was very talented to come out second 6 times in a row. But what did he do for those 6 years where he came in first and then taking a year off and coming in first for 7 times?
Tell me.
He hooked up with a buddy of mine named Phil Maffetone.
Oh, Zone 2.
And Phil Maffetone said, follow what I tell you to do. We're never going to leave Zone 2. We're going to build up mitochondria. We're going to build up capillaries. We're going to build up your heart. And you will be like a diesel engine out there.
Right.
Greatest aerobic athlete of all time. So when people go, Zone 2, you, Maffetone, you're fucking crazy. You don't know what you're talking about. Well, you're nuts. Okay. Tell that to Mark Allen.
Right.
Who did something where most people are burning out. Just kept doing it over and over and over again, as if by rote. He just, hey, time for Ironman again. Just go out and win again because of his training. Pretty incredible, right?
That is really incredible. I didn't know that he was a Zone 2 guy. So
All right.
that's pretty. Hey, since you brought up zone 2, can you explain that really quick for your listener? Because there's people that don't. It's been a bit since you've done it.
All right. So we basically have 5 aerobic zones. Hang on. Most people only have 4. Most sane people have 4. So zone 1 is between 0, which is dead, or before you're born, up to 69% of the aerobic capacity. Zone 2 is between 70 and 79%. Zone 3 is between 80 and 89%. Zone 4 is between 90 and 100% of the aerobic capacity. And for people who are well-trained professional aerobic athletes, say like a Tour de France guy or a Mark Allen, or even a guy like me back in the day, when we're well-trained, we can go beyond 100% for a very short period. That's zone 5.
Okay.
Very short period. What we figured out is in zone 1 and zone 2, you start building up more mitochondria, more capillaries. Your heart, instead of your heart building thicker, it builds more cavernous. So each heart pump. So in other words, when I was in top shape, training, like I walk around, like when I wake up in the morning, if I check my heart rate right now, it's, somewhere between 43 and 45 beats per minute. My heart still beats like that. When sitting here, I'm sure my heartbeat is no higher than 52, 53, right?
Wow.
But back when I was training hard for ultras, my heart rate at night or in the morning when I was at total rest, I'd register 36, 38, 39 beats per minute, something like. If I hit 40 beats a minute, it means I was overtraining. I had to take a break, right?
Makes sense.
So how do you figure out your zone 2? So if you want to be between 70 and 79% of your aerobic capacity, well, guys like me would go and get it, figure out what our top heart rate was, get on a treadmill and go figure that out, kill ourselves, and then just take a percentage of that. But wait, you can do it at home. I'll give you just a little empirical data, and then you can figure out the rest yourself. If you take the number 180, so Megan, let's do you.
Yeah, let's do me. 180 minus 53.
That would be 127.
Yep.
Okay. So 127, but you're not a couch potato. You're a well-trained athlete.
Yeah, so I do have that question.
You're a killer. You're a trained killer. You're a mutant.
I'm a trained killer. For a trained killer, do I want to be 127? Do I do the plus or minus 5?
You do the plus 5 because you are a trained athlete. So you can add 5. So 127 plus 5 comes to 132.
And that's right about where I hit every time.
So what's 132? We're going to call that 75%. We're going to put it right in the middle of 70 to 79%. We're going to call that 75%. And I'm telling you, if you went to a lab and did a $300 or $500 test, you would come up with pretty close to that, right?
Right.
So you never want to go past. If you start seeing 132, 133, start cracking back a bit. Once you hit 135, probably pulling out. And by the way, you can go all day long and your body will keep pulling from your fat stores if you're not in zone 3. Once you start hitting zone 3, now your body can't utilize fat. It can't make ketones fast enough to keep up. That's a problem, right? You have a little problem. So the way you handle that is you cut back a little bit, right? Now, Dr. Noakes, Timothy Noakes, just did an experiment. I had him on a show. Folks, go back about 4 or 5 weeks. He was able to get trained athletes up to 86% of their aerobic capacity and still burn fat as fuel. But that's well-trained athletes.
Right.
Right. That's not the average. He wasn't taking, I'm sure he was using the top athletes, but he proved that you could be in mid-zone 3 and still pull it off. 86% is mid-zone 3, right? But now I'm going into the weeds a bit, and I don't mean to.
It's okay.
Right. As a matter of fact, Phil Maffetone wrote to me the other day. I got to bring him back on the show. I think he wants to come back on to push something. So
you need to come on because it would be fascinating.
Yeah, I'm gonna when I hang up here, I'm gonna write to Phil.
Okay. Can I ask a question on zone stuff?
Sure.
I know I texted you a couple weeks ago asking you because when I walk, I can't get into zone 2. Is that okay, or do I need to? How do I up it? I mean, obviously, I could run to up it to get into zone 2, but like my normal speed on my walk or my hikes, I don't get into zone 2. Is that a problem?
It's only a problem if you're down around 90 beats a minute, 100 beats a minute. You want to be, upper zone 1, 110, 115.
Yeah, I'm usually like 110, 117, right in there. when
That's
I'm doing.
fine. That's fine. Look, whenever I come home at night, even when I was much younger, and I would get on my spinner, and I knew I
Mhm.
would have to sit in that spinner 2 hours, I would just stay at 120, 125. And my zone two back then was like 135, 140. I was way younger,
Right.
145 in some case. I would hit 125, 130 and say, I'm just going to cruise here. I'm just going to sit here and cruise, just get a good sweat going, just build up some mitochondria. And that's when I was bombing through 24-hour mountain bike races.
Hmm.
That it worked like a charm.
Okay, perfect.
Like a charm.
That's all.
Yeah.
Thanks for answering that.
No problem. Be sure to write, because as soon as I hang up here, I'm going to go right to me, Megan, send me a text. Tell me to get in touch with Mark Allen and Phil Maffetone.
Okay, I can do that.
I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
I'll find him. Folks,
Awesome.
if you like what's going on here, you know what to do. We always go shopping on Amazon. I know I do. We buy everything. We buy soap. Soap. I bought some socks the other day, some darn tough. Amazon. I mean, why go to the store when you get a better deal on Amazon, what have you? Before you go to Amazon, go to VinnyTartaris.com, click through the banner, puts a little coal on the fire, gets my train down the track. That's how we keep the show free for years and years and years. We also have the superfan page and all that at VinnyTartaris.com. We have that nickel and diamond you PDF, the NSNG ebook. Go get it at VinnyTartaris.com. Oh, Bonzo, you came over to say hi? Daddy's almost done. You're going to get you some kibble.
Don't forget your UltraFats.
I don't have a deal on UltraFats right now, but folks, go get UltraFat.
Yeah, I use them. I use them every hike.
Yeah, look, everyone, NSNG Foods, people love the UltraFat.
Yep.
It's just good stuff. So you can go check that out. So that's it. Megan, do you have any place you want to send people?
No,
If you guys want to check out Megan,
you guys can on the NSNG page. I'm there. You can always message me if you have questions on Messenger. I'm also on Instagram at unapologetically Meg.
yeah, I see you coming in my Instagram all the time. So go check out Megan, folks.
Thursdays.
Say that again.
I like your flashback Thursdays. I like to make fun of you.
I think I got one coming up tomorrow.
I
And
bet you do.
I never know what because I give her a ton of photos. I never know what's coming up.
Oh,
Like, so she gets like, I probably gave her 15 or 20 photos the last time. I decided in this last group, I went through some of my portfolio and handed her a bunch of those. She put one of them up with me doing a split last week.
I know you had to it didn't look like you had a swimsuit on. I'm gonna be honest. I had to scroll in.
Yeah, I was tucking a bit. Everybody was scrolling in. Leona
Yeah.
wrote to me. She was like, I had to scroll in and take a look. Like,
Exactly.
yeah.
So we're a bunch of pervs.
I think that picture was originally, the swimsuit was red or yellow. I can't really remember. But the black and white version makes it look like I have nothing on.
Exactly.
It's weird.
It's funny.
God. So, folks, you can go check out my Instagram. I'm going to always put up weird shit. Thursday, I put up old photos of me, which I probably shouldn't.
No,
So,
they're doing it.
yeah, I'll keep doing it. On behalf of Megan Hawks, my name is Vinny Tartarich. Put life into living and do it with enthusiasm.